Deep in the heart of Texas, an unfolding tragedy from those devastating flash floods. More than 120 people are now dead, nearly 200 still missing, and entire communities are reeling. But while families mourn, the political finger-pointing has already begun. And no surprise, Donald Trump is once again refusing to take responsibility. Instead, he's doing what he always does: blame someone else. Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Graph's Grievances starts right now. Back in January, before Donald Trump was even sworn in for his second term, California was on fire, literally. A ring of wildfires swept through Los Angeles County. The Palisades fire scorched more than 23,000 acres and forced evacuations from Malibu to Santa Monica. To the east, the Easton Fire tore through San Gabriel Mountains, destroying over 9,000 structures and taking at least 17 lives. These were two of the most destructive fires in California's history. And what was Donald Trump's response? He blamed California's Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom. Trump called him Gavin New Scum, accused Newsom of, quote, letting California burn, and fabricated a story that Newsom had refused to sign a water restoration declaration, a document that doesn't even exist. According to Trump, thousands of homes were lost because California was too concerned about a worthless fish called the Delta smelt. That's how Trump responds to disaster, with cruelty, with lies, and with deflection. While people fled burning homes, Trump used their tragedy to score points. He mocked California's environmental policies, distorted water management facts, and spread conspiracy theories, all while doing virtually nothing to help. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden, who happened to be in the state at the time, visited a fire station, met with state officials, and promised federal assistance. Trump continued to tweet insults. Fast forward 6 months, now Trump is back in office, and this time it's Texas that's under siege from record-breaking flash floods. Over the July 4th weekend, a wall of water tore through Texas. The death toll stands at 120 people, but with nearly 200 still missing. Officials fear that the number could exceed 200. It's one of the deadliest flood events in U.S. history. Entire towns were swallowed by rivers, roads disappeared, homes were washed away, and the dead include at least 36 children, many of them from Camp Mystic, a Christian summer camp for girls, where 27 campers and staff have now died. This is a nightmare, but it's also a wake-up call, because while Texas communities grieve, questions are swirling. Could more lives have been saved? Were there failures in preparation, in infrastructure, in communication? And once again, Republicans are trying to duck responsibility. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who oversaw the state's disaster readiness, dismissed all criticism. When asked about emergency planning, Abbott brushed off the investigation as, quote, words of losers. He compared the loss of over 100 lives to a football game. Yes, a football game. But the loss here is no game, and accountability isn't just for losers, it's for leaders. Which brings us to Donald Trump, the president who blamed California fires on smelt and socialism now finds himself overseeing one of the deadliest natural disasters in modern American history. And suddenly, the man who used to scream that the buck stops with Joe Biden has nothing but praise for Texas Republicans. Trump signed a disaster declaration for Kerr County. He offered condolences. He promised to visit. But the moment criticism mounted, Trump did what Trump always does: point the finger elsewhere.
Are you investigating whether some of the cuts to the federal government left key vacancies at the National Weather Service or in the emergency coordination?
No, they did not.
They did. I'll tell you, you look at that, what a situation that all is, and that was really the Biden setup. That was not our setup.
He did later clarify that he wasn't officially blaming Biden, citing the historic nature of the floods instead. But let's not kid ourselves. Trump's message was loud and clear. Trump was shifting responsibility, as he always does, away from himself. And this has become his MO. Since returning to office in January, Trump has blamed Biden for nearly everything: airline crashes, grocery prices, anti-Semitic attacks, foreign wars, even the failure of a Gaza ceasefire. The consequences are catastrophic, because the devastation in Texas didn't come out of nowhere. This flood was a perfect storm, fueled by climate change, worsened by infrastructure failures, and made more deadly by the deliberate dismantling of America's disaster response systems. And that dismantling, that is Trump's legacy. Since taking office, Donald Trump has proposed slashing $163 billion from the federal budget, the deepest cuts in modern U.S. history. Much of it comes directly from the agencies tasked with preparing for and responding to disasters. The National Weather Service, the people who issue the flood warnings, is already short-staffed thanks to Trump-era hiring freezes. Key roles in the Texas offices, like the warning coordination meteorologist in San Antonio, are vacant. NOAA, which oversees the National Weather Service, is facing a 20% personnel reduction under Trump's latest budget. He's also proposed eliminating its entire Office of Oceanic and Atmospheric Research, the agency responsible for climate modeling, storm prediction, and severe weather studies. That includes the science labs that monitor hurricanes in Florida, thunderstorm outbreaks in Oklahoma, and yes, flash floods in Texas. It also includes programs like Landsat, a satellite mission that helped track and predict flood damage for over 50 years. Trump's team recently archived Landsat's official account on X, deleted its online documentation, and quickly moved to cancel the Landsat Next project entirely. And then there's NASA. Trump's proposed budget cuts NASA's science division, which includes many of the spacecrafts used for real-time weather monitoring, by more than half. That means fewer eyes in the sky, fewer tools to detect storms before they strike, and more communities left in the dark until it's too late. And let's not forget FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Trump has publicly called it bloated, inefficient, and a failure. He's floated ideas to phase it out and give disaster responsibilities to the states. Well, in Texas, we saw what that looks like. The state legislature, controlled by Republicans, just rejected a bill that would have modernized Texas' emergency response infrastructure. The proposal included grants for counties to install outdoor warning sirens and upgrade communication systems. Meanwhile, the Trump White House insists that anyone raising concerns about these budget cuts is being despicable. His press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, attacked Democrats for politicizing a tragedy. But what's more political? pointing out the predictable consequences of gutting emergency services, or pretending those cuts don't exist while people drown. Even before this flood, experts warned that Trump's agenda would degrade America's weather forecasting capacity, and we're already seeing it happen. Meteorologists are burning out. Forecasting tools are being defunded. Communication between federal and local officials is breaking down because travel budgets have been slashed and coordination roles have been left unfilled. These are not just bureaucratic details, they are life and death choices. How many more children would be alive today if warning systems had reached their parents faster? How many more homes might still stand if flood maps had been updated with modern satellite data? How many more lives could be saved if disaster response wasn't held together with duct tape and prayers? We'll never know the full toll, but here's what we do know. Trump didn't cause this storm, but he absolutely made it worse. His cuts to science, emergency coordination, and infrastructure created vulnerabilities that people in Texas have paid for with their lives. And it's not just Texas. These risks are national. Climate change is making floods more frequent and more intense. Warmer air holds more moisture, and when that water falls, it falls fast. Researchers estimate that storms like this one in Texas Hill Country now produce 7% more rainfall than they did a generation ago. The science is very clear, but Trump and the Republican Party have fought every serious effort to confront climate change, from killing the Green New Deal to pulling out of international climate agreements to boosting fossil fuel production at home and abroad. They didn't just ignore the crisis, they accelerated it. And now they want to pretend they had nothing to do with the damage. It's time to stop pretending that every disaster is just an act of God. These are policy failures, and they have names attached to them. Donald Trump, Greg Abbott, the Republican Party. They have slashed emergency budgets, mocked climate science, and blocked legislation that would have saved lives. And when the floods come, when the fire rages, when children die, they blame the last guy. They say thoughts and prayers. Then they go back to cutting. This is the cost of denial. This is the cost of leadership that refuses to lead. And rather than just ordering investigations, Democrats should state the obvious. Climate change is killing people and destroying communities across the United States. And Republicans at every level of government are making life here more dangerous. Thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please consider supporting my channel via the Venmo link below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and join me tomorrow for more.